And we are back for episode 17. We've got an incredible guest here with a long list, two-time icon, 9 years in the business, former president of the Flagler County Association of Realtors, Citizen of the Year on the Palm Coast.
City of Palm Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining us, Meagan.
Hi. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, this is great. I'm really excited. I've known you for about a year, I think now, and we're finally getting to collaborate. And I just can't wait to share all the fun stuff we're going to talk about today.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. And if you would, I mean, that's a light introduction, but what's your story? Like, how'd you get into real estate and what's it been like for the last nine,
Sure.
9 years?
Sure. So I was actually a teacher, trained teacher. Prior to this, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I really loved teaching. Honestly, it was like something I was just super passionate about, getting in the classroom with those kiddos and like changing their lives, right? And I also knew I hated snow, so I didn't like shoveling very much. So gradually, I moved further south, and really enjoyed teaching, like I said, but obviously, as we know, the whole world has changed in the last, 15 years or so since I had my teaching license, and things just stopped being fun. And I know that a big reason I wanted to be a teacher was because I love helping people, changing lives, and I wanted to be a parent. And it just wasn't lighting me up anymore. It wasn't like giving me that spark when I was going to work. And so I ended up moving to Florida on January 1st, 2013. So New Year's Day, started brand new. And I kind of hung out around Palm Coast and kind of got my bearings straight and wasn't really sure what to do. And a friend said, "Hey, why don't you try real estate?" And like everyone in Florida, right? Like, try real estate, why not? And so I was like, okay. And he was like, "You like people, you like talking, like, go show houses." And as I know now, it is a whole lot different than just liking people and showing houses. But I hopped in and soon learned that it was extremely similar to teaching, where I went from taking care of someone's most valuable possession, their child, to helping them with their biggest investment. And there's a lot of hand holding, and there's a lot of education, and there's a lot of just helping people become their best, like a part of their best life, like in their best self, growing, whether it be purchasing a house or selling an investment, things like that. So it was a really awesome transition into getting into real estate. And then over the years, it's been full time since I started, and I was really fortunate that I could hop in with both feet. And I started with a servant heart, and how can I give back, and how can I help people? And I believe that that is the foundation of how you get to your goals, is by helping other people reach theirs. So it's kind of
I
that
love
story there.
it. I love it. And I think you already hit on a huge nugget right there. And it's something that I was taught early, but it's sell by education, right? Be an advisor. And you really touched on that just now, just for the similarity between teaching and real estate, right? Like,
Yeah.
you came into this and it was natural for you because I mean, you're an educator.
Right. And that's the thing too, that you just hit on a huge one, is an advisor. And I think, a lot of times we hear agent and like real estate agent, and what an agent is versus what an advisor can be are two very different things, and obviously agency is important. We won't get into all the fiduciary side of that, but just by we've recently changed our what we call ourselves as real estate advisors. And we even put it on our business cards, put it on our email signatures, because I think that that also has changed our mindset of, I also work with my husband. Just that's what, when I say I work with my husband, and it's changed our mindset around how we behave with our clients, our customers, and how we behave with fellow professionals. Advisor to me is just kind of like an elevated role where, like you said, like we're not here to make any decisions for anybody, right? We're here to help give them the full picture, not just a little snapshot of the full picture of what's going on with the market, and educate them to make the best decisions for themselves.
I love it. I love it. And before we get into the big question, I just want to say hi to Melissa. She's over there. She's a good friend of ours and also somebody who just sold her house here and moved up to Pennsylvania.
Oh, cool. Hey,
Um,
Melissa.
so jumping in, I mean, the big question, right? Like, and you can go about this whichever way you want to. Like, I've kind of asked it in a way where if you could take your knowledge now and airdrop and start over to get from 0 to 100,000, or just if you were teaching somebody else to get from 0 to 100,000 as fast as possible, starting with 0.
I think the absolute first thing that I would take, because it's hard, like when I look back and I'm like, would I bring all that knowledge with me? Or even like helping my husband join the business, like giving him that knowledge. I think the first thing I would do would be get comfortable failing and get comfortable knowing that I don't know it all. We have a branch office here for EXP, and we educate our agents on it's okay to not know it all. Brand new agents, it's okay to not know it all. I still don't know it all, almost 10 years in. And so I think that that would be the absolute first thing that I would work on is being uncomfortable or being comfortable not having all of the right answers right away, and being comfortable hitting that ground and getting back up and running like a toddler, right? When they're learning to walk, they get down, they get back up. So that would be the absolute first thing that I would do. I would do, honestly, I would do things pretty similar to what I did. I didn't have any fear. I moved to a new area and knew no one. So, like, my care about knocking on doors was super low. I was like, okay, you don't like me. I don't know you. Bye, next house, right? So, I think that that really helped set me up for success is that I didn't care what people thought of me, but I would hold on to that because that's something that I've noticed now that as I've grown, my ego has come back into play. And, like for me now to like go knock on doors, which is a tactic that is very beneficial. I know it's one that people don't like to use, but it does work, especially when you're looking in a neighborhood for a buyer. I have to like kind of re-talk myself into those things where, before I didn't mind doing that. So I would remove the ego, remember that it honestly doesn't matter what people think, because if you can find who you are and what your goals are and what works for you, I think creating that plan and moving forward, knowing what the end game is like the best way to do that. Because then it doesn't matter what anyone says. And I think that's where agents get caught up, right? Like they don't want to make the calls because they're afraid they're going to get told no. They don't want to, put their face on social media because they're afraid somebody's going to say that their hair looked bad or insert, whatever. And so I think that if I could go back and tell myself, like, get ready to fail, sister, and, just be who you are and know where you're going, because none of the negativity matters.
I was looking back here to make sure I had it. I got to grab it.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
110%.
I love it. Another one, I'm going to look one up right now too, that I'm going to share real quick too, because this has been one that is super powerful. It's a Theodore Roosevelt quote. At least he's the one who they say said it. And it's called the Man in the Arena. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. It is, hold on one second, it's coming up. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcomings. I'm going to say that again. There is no effort without error and shortcomings, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best in the end knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. I love that one
I
because it's
love it.
like the person in the high stands up there who's like throwing shade or that tells you no, like they're not they're not your people, right? So just keep moving forward and keep doing what is true to you. So
I love it. I love it. And you're really hitting one of the things inside that I feel like holds a lot of people back is the failure, the rejection. You have to align your heart, right? So like for me, it wasn't really about money, and I really don't think for a lot of people it will be. It's for me. I saw if they didn't have me, what the alternative was, and it scared me. So then all of a sudden it made those calls a little easier. That if someone is saying no, they're not saying no to me because if they knew me, they would get across that with themselves, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yep. So you just keep pushing.
That's a really good point, and I think that that's something that a lot of people should hold on to too. Like if you're doing the work and you know that you're great at your job, like keep pushing forward because like you said, like people do list or go with people whom like their first agent, like I can't remember the percentage of how many people interview one agent. It blows my mind.
Yep.
So just becoming that one agent is, pretty much the key to success.
Yep.
So
I
awesome.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So we got fear of failure. We need to just throw that right out the window. And
Hmm.
then you also threw one in there about door knocking. Like that's something that you've seen huge success with. I feel like it is, at least in this area, almost nobody does it. I don't know anybody who actually does that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, there has to be a purpose with door knocking or else it kind of is.
Weird.
Yeah, it's when it's weird and it's obsolete. Like, I'm not saying everyone go out and door knock, but I'm saying that right now with like the way that inventory is, the way that we're trying to find homes for our customers. I mean, I'm telling you, if I was someone sitting at my house and my husband was home, of course, I'm not answering the door without that, but that someone knocked on my door and was like, "Hi, I'm, James with eXp Realty, and I have a customer looking in your area and they are trying to find a house and told their story, right? Like it's not like knock, knock, knock. Can I have your listing? No, you have to connect with people and tell the story. Yeah, sure. People are going to be like, okay, no, thank you, and close the door. But it's one way that you can get in front of potential customers face to face right now. And closing a door in the face is a whole lot more challenging than hanging up the phone.
Yeah.
So I think that, people will say all day long, oh, I need more listings. I need this. I need that. I need to make more money. But until your actions match your words of you need, like stepping out of that comfort zone and door knocking is huge. And right now, I think that people would be surprised with that. Because another thing people are craving is connection.
Yep.
And you can't do that over the phone, you
No.
know? And I'm not saying like knock on the door and go in, but like knock on the door, step back and build a relationship with someone, especially when it's in an area that you're looking to farm or that you have a customer that is looking to be in.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. And
Um,
and also go prepared. Like have some market knowledge before you go. Don't just go knocking on doors. Like I would have some kind of a takeaway. Here we have no soliciting. You have to have a solicitation license in our town. So if you're soliciting, so it's look up your laws in your area, of course. But if you're going and providing value or inviting to something, then that's not soliciting. So providing a quick one-page market update for people. Everyone wants to know. Everyone's hearing right now. Inventory is low, the market's high. People have equity. Those are equity is a huge word. That's a buzzword for people, but sometimes they don't have that person like we just talked about. They don't have that trusted advisor to reach out to. So if you go to their door and hand them that paper, you've already provided them value,
yep.
and that's step one of building a relationship.
Heck yeah. And then you can keep them updated on their value.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, it just provides all these opportunities, right? All it is like building relationships, and you go if you go knock on a door, provide some information, um, let them know, you're a real estate agent, you want to help them with any of their needs, and then send them a handwritten note to follow up. Send them something in the mail next month, sending them something in the mail the month after that, and if you go door knocking again in another quarter, you're going to see them again. So just like, you're building that relationship with people and they learn to trust you, which is obviously the foundation of anyone doing business with people. So
I love it. I love it. So what else you got? Where are we going from here?
I wanted to share about some productivity tips because I think that is a huge issue with agents. And the number one killer of productivity is overwhelm. And so it's so easy as a real estate professional these days to work yourself to death, right? Like we can be 24/7, 365 and still somehow not get everything done.
Yep.
And so one tool that I've been using in the last, I'd say 6 months, that's been a game changer for me is a win the day list. And so what that looks like for me is so I guess it's two things: a win the day list and prepping the day before, like the night before for the following day. So I don't roll in like what's going on today. But that win the day list comes from creating my to-do list and going through my to-do list and finding the 3 items that are going to move the needle in my business the most. So those 3 items that I have to get done, that no matter what, if I get them done, my day is won. And I'll tell you, I'll show you real quick. I have my Post-its already out here. So there's my 2 win the day list right there. I put them on Post-it notes. The three items get on a special Post-it. I stick them right on my desk, so I have to look at them all day. And it's really easy. The phone rings, you get an email, you get a contract, stuff like that happens that you have to attend to. But having the top 3 just on my desk, it helps me bring my attention back to them, knowing that I have to get them done before I leave. And they can look like anything too. And I think that that's something that has been a good one for me, is like understanding that winning my day doesn't just mean making money, right? Like it's taking care of my soul as well as getting stuff done for my business. So sometimes my win the day list is like, shoot, like right now, market update video, customer appreciation party. So I'm like those are 2 things that I need to get stuff done before I leave. But it also sometimes looks like take a walk.
Yeah.
And because it is like this market is brutal. It's challenging. Any real estate professional knows that. But, getting outside and just having the sun hit your skin, there's studies that show what it does for humans. So sometimes in there it is take a walk. Sometimes it's pick Elijah up by X time. Sometimes it's go get coffee at your favorite coffee shop. And so sometimes like those items are filling my soul, which then allows me to come back and get to my other work. So that doesn't mean I don't have 25 items on my to-do list. I still have a mile long to-do list, right? But I pick those 3 that are going to be game changers. And what that really allows me to do is it allows me to collect wins. And ultimately, the person who collects the most wins is going to end up doing the most business, but not just doing the most business. They're going to end up living a more fulfilled life. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me these days is, we have a great business. We'll chat a little bit at the end about, the things that have come into fruition in our life over the last 3 years, but it can't be about money, because as soon as it becomes about money, like boring, right? I could work anywhere and make money, but I get to do this job and have a fulfilled life and have that flexibility that I so desire. And so making sure that my life is paralleling that income is important for me.
And I really love what you touched on there, because I'm just going to tell you a quick story. It was kind of abrupt. A local agent here, his name is Cello, and we were talking about something, and I was like, I had said naturally, because this is the way I feel like we all say it is, oh, family first, of course. And he like stopped me. He's like, no, man, you're wrong. And I'm like, whoa, like ain't nobody ever said you're wrong to that. And he's like, no, listen, hear it out. So if you are constantly putting your family first, that means that their needs come before yours. So you're pulling from your energy, you're pulling from your soul in order to pour into them. Why don't you flip that around to where your energy and your soul come first so that you have more to pour into your family?
I'm writing that one down right there.
Dude, Cello, he blew my mind with that one.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, but you hit it on the head there is, when you're looking at that, what you need to recharge. This is a business of energy where we're constantly being ripped apart because in this particular market, we're just delivering bad news every day is what it
Yeah.
kind of feels like. Every day is like an appraisal issue. You didn't get the house. Hopefully they have an inspection period, but usually inspections come back with something. And a lot of times they don't have an inspection period. So hopefully you prepared them properly beforehand.
Yeah. Well, and I think like I love that you said that, and everything is an exchange of energy, of course, but I really have not equated like business to an exchange of energy. And I think you're right. I have taken that, and I know you know, James, but I am in recovery and am going to be 20 months without alcohol in 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's counting, right? But that's something that has really helped me recognize that I do need to put myself first,
Yeah.
because I was turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms, and it wasn't, like I think a big misconception is that like only people who turn to drugs or alcohol are using unhealthy coping skills, but there's so many ways that we when we don't take care of ourselves, we turn to
Food.
something to fill whatever we're missing, when really all it is like taking some time to go meditate, taking a walk, eating healthy food, like something nutritious that like nourishes your body, your brain, and gets you feeling better. And then like you said, like you can't take care of your family. If you can't take care of your family without taking care of yourself, then your customers have no chance.
100%.
So, I think that that's a really good point. I wrote that your energy and soul come first. I like that verbiage. I like that verbiage because it's just sometimes too, I think like just our society is like, oh, you're all about you. And it's like, yeah. So then I can be all about you. So I
Yeah.
gotta put me first. Yeah. As I say that, as I was, texting 4 people at 7 a.m. this morning. But there's days where that happens too, right? It's balance of it all. So,
100%. 100%.
yeah, so I think, yeah, just the win the day list and making sure I was going to touch on that as well in productivity. Like you said, you have to take care of yourself. And for me, figuring out what my recharge, I guess, items or things has been super helpful for me, because it's all about quality, not quantity. And I know that sounds so cliche, like we say that all the time, but it's the truth. It's definitely quality of recharge, it's quality of time with family. And I think that this is a big sucker of that quality away. So I think just making sure that when you're taking care of yourself, whether that be going on a walk, meditating, spending time with your children, spending time with your spouse, I think being fully present when you're doing those things really can allow for you to become more productive in your work side of things, because they're not lingering in the back of your head now, like, oh, did I spend enough time with Elijah? Did I, on date night, was I on my phone too much? And then also just like knowing how your soul feels when, you're on the phone sometimes too much. We all know it. It all like hits us and we're like, oh yeah, we should cut that down. But I think just taking that time uninterrupted. A rule that Brady and I just implemented recently was that it's not quality time it's not quality time together if there's electronics involved. So that means like watching a movie, we're not even counting that as quality time anymore, because there is something else distracting us from our connection.
Yep.
So that's something that has
I
been
love
a
that.
game changer. Yeah, a game changer for us. So and I also recently started doing it's called a Grade 8 challenge. I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to mess up what they are. And this has been really great for filling my soul and also filling um, not just my soul, but filling like tasks that we need to do. So there's 8 items, and they're each done in groups of 10. So we've got, hold on one second. Let me grab it right here so I don't miss one. Here we go. So it's 10 minutes of exercise every day, 10 minutes of education, 10 affirmations, 10 minutes of script practice, 10 gratitudes or wins, 10 pages of reading, 10 minutes of meditation, and 10 conversations. And that right there, I think simplifies it, because a lot of times I think where our stop is, we stop before we even get started
Yep.
because we're overwhelmed. And by being able to break down, like, I hate script practice. Like I feel it's the point, right? Like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not good at this, which is obviously the point of script practice, to get good at that stuff, right?
Yep.
I hate it. I feel silly. So, but knowing, walking into it being like, oh, it's only 10 minutes. I can do this for 10 minutes, right? I
Yep.
can do anything for 10 minutes. So, and 10 minutes of exercise. Tell me anyone who, if you only have 10 minutes, great to squeeze it in. But once you get going, you're doing more than 10 minutes, right? So that's been a super big game changer for myself and Brady. And it's honestly, it's impacted not just our business, but it's impacted our relationship with each other as business partners and as spouses, which is something that's super important in real estate. It's hard to, you know, keep all the balls in the air. So I think anything that moves the needle, even a pinch in relationships that I have in my life, then that's super beneficial.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to Bill Pipes. Bill Pipes gave me that one. So got to give credit where credit's due.
That's Mr. Beast Mode himself.
Yes, for sure. So, and I
I
also
wrote
love celebrating wins. I mean, like, I kind of like full circle to that win the day list. It's all about celebrating wins. And, the way you build confidence is by collecting wins. And so when you actually are intentional about celebrating them, it just, I don't know, I feel so good. The other day, I was just thinking about all the stuff going on. I was thinking about being on your podcast and getting excited about it. I have an opportunity to be an author in a book coming up. I can't talk too much about it because they're going to announce it next week, but an opportunity to be an author. And I have a couple other podcasts that were, I was invited to be on, and just things like that, a contract, someone under contract, a new agent joining us. And I was just thinking about it. And instead of thinking about it, I wrote it down. And at the end, am I allowed to say a curse word?
Yeah, you can curse as
Okay.
much as you want.
And at the end, I wrote all these things down at the end, and I was like, I'm a fucking badass. And I yeah, right? I was like, yeah. And I didn't even really feel that when I was just thinking about them. But when I wrote them down and I had this list of podcast, book, contract, agent joining, win, 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 win. I'm awesome. And I was like, oh my God, I am awesome, right? Being able to feel that. That's what it's about, though. This business
Yep.
is hard. This market is tough. So celebrating your wins, I'll take that all day.
100%. I love that.
So,
I love that.
yeah, totally off of my lead gen conversation, but sometimes it flows right into where you need it to flow, right?
100%. That's something that I feel like we're all taught to be humble, and those are that is still being humble. Like, you still have to fulfill yourself and acknowledge yourself. Like, I'm with you 110%, and that is awesome. You're crushing it.
Oh, thank you, friend. You are
You got it.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Having fun.
It's it's really cool how we get to build these relationships, like you and I, through the opportunity at our company that we've had, and then watching each other grow is just super exciting. And I think that's another tip on our productivity tips, surround yourself with the right people. who are growing with you and who are pushing you forward. Because, kind of back to full circle again with that, the man in the arena quote, there's going to always be people who are pulling people down, who are pulling you down. But especially pulling other people down, those aren't the right circles to be in. Put yourself around people who are pushing you forward, lifting you up, and that you get to ride alongside their journeys of success and celebrate each other.
Fair warning, when you start that journey, you are going to leave people behind. Just a side note there that's not super happy, but it's normal, is when you really start that journey and you're starting to surround yourself with the right people, you're going to leave a lot of people behind. And it's okay.
Yeah. And do you want to know how I've kind of I've changed that? Because I think, like you said, like, we're taught, be humble, we're taught, don't get too conceited or arrogant or whatever, which I don't think that, I think there's a lot of work to be done to hit that level, just then versus confidence. But I've kind of changed it from leaving people behind, because I used to say, I feel like I'm going like this. And now I just feel like it's going like different directions,
Yeah.
So it's not about, I had to change my mindset on that too. Cause I started to feel bad and like icky about it. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, no, wait, everyone's on their best life path for themselves. Right. And everybody, I truly believe everyone is, in every single moment, they are doing the best that they can with the tools they have provided to them, or the tools they believe they have provided to them. So it's not like better or worse. It's just different journeys, and, figure out what journey you want to be on and grab a hold of someone. And, especially people going in a positive direction, people improving their life, people trying to help people doing, just living more fulfilled lives. They want to bring people with them, right? Like, I'm all about it. Like, you want to go forward, you want to go, come on, let's go together and do it, And so I think that if you find the right people, they're going to let you latch on, and they're going to help you, take you to the level you want to get to.
I love it. I love it. And there's like two things I want to add in there, because I have like this stupid rule, but it's not stupid. In 30 seconds of me first meeting somebody, I know, right? Like, I know if we're going to have a thing or not going to have a thing.
Yeah.
And like, you can say that judging a book by its cover, whichever way it is, you're either helping my energy go like this, or you're helping my energy go like this. And if you're doing this one, not in a, I'm just not letting you in, right? Like, you could still be around me, but you're just not getting in.
Yeah.
And the second one is, when you see someone that's doing something that you feel like they could do better, or they can improve in some sort of way, offer that constructive criticism. Because if they get defensive about it and shut down, and they start calling you out on something, or like it's immediate like that, you already know, right? Like, this is someone that you can't grow together. You can still be around each other, but you're not going to grow together, because if that person can't handle the heat, they can't be in your kitchen.
Brady's been recently using the words, "Can I offer you some feedback?"
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want your feedback right now. But then I come around and I'm like, okay, tell me your feedback, but it's just a way to like get that guard down. And like you said, if you have a safe relationship where people, like, you're with somebody who trusts, like, I 100% would all day long, if you were like, hey, can I give you some feedback? I'd be like, heck yeah, help me get better,
Yep.
So I think as long as you have that safe relationship, that's definitely one way to tell who are your people.
That's a huge point that you just threw out there, though, because when you're doing that, that's the gateway, is getting permission.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you're going to help somebody, I've made that mistake so much in my life, where I just right in there, right? Like, I just hit them with a haymaker, and they didn't like ask for it. They didn't know it was coming, nothing. But that one question is, can I coach you for a minute? Can
Yeah.
I be honest with you for a minute?
Or are you open to some feedback? Are you open to diving a little deeper on this?
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk to your soul. Let's get in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think everyone figured out from this episode here that we're not playing around. We're going soul deep. We're taking care of our energy. We're figuring out how to align ourselves with the right people.
Yep.
So I love it.
It's the way to do it. You got the right environment. You got the right tools. It's just fun. Like, you're actually able to grow and have fun, instead of losing hair and, gaining a bunch of weight. Like, no, you just
Well, and eventually someone's going to tell you, right? Like if you're not by your trusted people who are going to help you get further, you're going to fracture relationships along the way with, and not intentionally, right? But like if there's an area of improvement that you can have, it's going to only help elevate you. And eventually someone's going to tell you, and it might not be as nice as somebody who cares about you.
Oh man. Hey, let's talk. I don't want to leave them without the lead generation though. We got to go into lead generation.
All right. Got some lead gen stuff here. That I think is it comes also with the Grade 8 challenge. I think making sure that you are having those 10 conversations. I actually dropped mine down to 5. Because I know I can do 5 solid conversations. 10 is tricky. People aren't answering sometimes, right? Like have your ideal be 10, but really be committed to 5 conversations a day, and have them be intentional, not just like, oh, I'm just going to call a past. Hey, I'm just calling to check in. Like, no one wants to be checked in with, right? Like find some, right? Like who does, right? No one. No one has time to be checked in. It's the truth.
You're right. But we all do what you just
We all
said.
do it. I'm just calling to follow up. Like, ugh. It's true. I'm just following up with you, buddy. Did you see the listings I sent over? No, be intentional. Like, find something. Say it's a Facebook friend. Hey, I saw that you just had your granddaughter's baptism. That's amazing. God bless, if that's how you believe, right? Like connect with them though,
Yeah.
What a beautiful experience this weekend. The pictures looked gorgeous. Oh, your daughter looks so happy. You guys look so happy. Yeah, it was wonderful. Da, 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 da. Chat, chat, chat. Hey, how are you doing, Megan? Oh, things are great. So busy, I don't like that word actually. I probably wouldn't say busy, but like things are good. Office is growing, getting more listings. And hey, I know a couple months back we talked and you guys were talking about getting your home on the market. Are you still interested? I could get you a market analysis over here, this afternoon. I can email it over. I can drop it off tomorrow. What's best for you? And they're, oh, wow, you're going to drop it off? Oh, that would be awesome. I'd love to see you. And it's just building those connections. And as I like to say, following up like a professional. Like that's where I think the real mishap comes in follow up. It's one, it's not done, right? And then 2, it's like I think the reason it's not done is because people don't have the right understanding of what follow up is, and they're just checking in, or following up on the email I sent you, and it's not it. Yes, that's what we're doing, right? And yes, we're following up, and it's great to call people, but think about how I always like to think about how I feel, right? Like, how would I feel if someone called me and said what I'm about to say and said what I just said, right? And it's not a way, like we talked about earlier, it's not like a way to berate myself. It's a way to figure out how to get better and how to actually connect with those people. In our business at this point, 9 years in, I am privileged enough to work with people that I want to work with. I can say no if it's somebody who doesn't serve my energy, like we were talking about. And so the people that I want to work with are typically people like me. So because of that, I can tell. I know my avatar. I know my ideal person. And if you don't know your avatar, that's another key to your business is finding out who your avatar is, who is your ideal customer, and then talk to them. Because I know my avatar is probably a mom. They are between the ages of 25 and 50. They are making just under or over $100,000, like 6 figures a year. They're busy. They have a lot going on, and I know how to talk and connect with that person. And so, being able to do that has really helped, and follow up with a professional. And I think just finding those things that are in common, and remembering like we all have points in our CRM of like next follow up, right? Next time we're going to talk. So make sure you are doing that, setting up that next expected conversation and communication piece. But don't just go right into the work. Connect with them as a personal level. I think that is something that COVID has brought to light, is that people want to be treated like people. and they want to be a human first. And I think the second you get on that human level with somebody, they're yours. And vice versa, right? Like you don't want to lose them once they know a little bit more about you too.
Well, so aside of that is treat them like they're joining your team. Like you're going to help. It doesn't matter if you even ever sell them a house or help them buy a house. Treat them in a way where you're going to build this relationship so you have someone that's going to recruit more business to your business in the future.
That's
Right?
good. That's
They're
good.
going to bring you more listings. They're going to bring you more buyers because they trust you and they like you and they know that you've got a good heart and you're taking people in the right direction.
Absolutely. I told this story yesterday. I have two people in my life right now that came along when I was early and new in my real estate days and didn't know a door from a window, basically, right? And I just worked hard with them and got to know them, and they got to know me. And through that, I ended up giving one a break on commission at the time. I sold a $300,000 house. I thought I was rich, and which is still a great commission. But at the time, I was like living the good life, right?
Yep.
And these people, because I gave the break on commission, because I connected with them as humans. I got an email from one yesterday that was like, "Hey, I want to see a picture of your new house. How's the baby?" They have a condo in Cabo, and they're like, "Our condo's open a week in July. Do you guys want to take and go and see it, or stay there?" And I'm like, wow, these are just relationships that I've built, that if they're offering me to go stay at their condo in Cabo, like, you think they're calling someone else to sell their house?
Yeah.
And it's all because, like you said, like just connecting on that human level and building that relationship and treating them the way that they're part of your team, that we're succeeding together.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that. Oh, the other part I have here with with connecting with people is when you tell them you're going to do something, also do it. I think that that's a big one right there.
That's a code for life. Like
Yeah.
that's for everything that you do.
Yeah. And I think also this is a skill set that can be used to increase conversion and increase trust in those relationships, because you can throw in an email that you're sending to someone, "Hey, I'm going to give you a call right now just to make sure you got this email." Just throw that sentence in right at the end. "I'm going to shoot you a text to let you know I sent this. I'm going to give you a call." Send the email, pick up the phone and call them and tell them. And all of a sudden you become the person who does what they said they're going to do. Right? Yeah. Maybe they obviously probably didn't see their email unless they're sitting in front of their computer. "Hey, I just sent you an email, yada, yada, yada." So that right there, you're doing what you say, you're building that trust. And then again, when they go back to their email, open it up, they're going to I'm going to give you a call. "Oh yeah, she did give me a call." So that's 2 bonus points you just earned by throwing in that sentence on top of what you're already helping them do.
Yep.
So
I love it.
It's like the little, right? Like I have this tiny hinge on my desk. This is a John Sheplack, Tiny Hinges Swing Big Doors. But it's the little tiny things that, like, think about how small this hinge is and the size of the door that a hinge, moves. And so remembering that it's not these grandiose ideas, it's not the grandiose gestures, it's the little tiny things that you do every day in your business that make the big impact.
I love it. I love it.
So,
dude, you're a beast. I appreciate you being here and breaking a lot down here. There's a lot of nuggets inside of this episode. And I appreciate you contributing towards our community over here. I mean, that everyone jumping on here. Oh man, we can't see it. Who just posted 2 rock stars? It's a Facebook user on our end.
Nick Krem.
Is it Nick Krem? You think he would say that? Oh, there's the vote. I feel like he would have said yes to StreamYard though.
Well, I have him on. I have it pulled up on Facebook so I can see it's Nick.
Oh, you got it? I love Nick.
Oh,
thanks, Melissa.
That's so sweet. Melissa's about to be my Facebook friend.
Melissa's awesome. Yeah, we just got back from Philly. We were there for a pool trip with her and her husband Jake, and we got second. We lost in the finals, but we still got second.
Yeah, don't live in the gap. It's a whole nother episode, but that's my book takeaway for the Gap in the Gain is my book I'm reading now. And that just reminded me. I wanted to, if you are watching this and you have not read The Gap in the Gain, get that book, get that Audible. That is a game changer for business.
I just bought it on Amazon right before we jumped on here because you said that.
Well, and how many people told you about it?
You're the third person. So like normally it's the first person. Like in our group, if somebody says a book, I just buy it because like whatever, it's $20. Like it can go on a shelf until I'm ready to read it, right? This was one that we got at Sprint that was talked about, and that one was man, I can't remember anybody's name. His name's Mitch.
Okay, Mitch Ryback.
Yes. Okay, and that dude's like amazing. Like,
Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yep, and former broker, and he basically, when he told his story, he's like, this book made a huge difference for me because that's the truth. Is if I were to die tomorrow, what happens to my family? What happens to the people around me? Do I feel like I spent the time I needed to? Did I, like it's a lot of things that come with the idea of death.
Yeah.
Shit, man. So I got one last question for you, but is there anything you want to leave them off on with what we've done here today?
I think just like 3 fire mat, one, take care of your energy, take care of your soul, has to come first. That's my takeaway. 2, connect with people, like be a person, connect with people, build the relationship, see how you can serve them, whether or not they're buying a house or selling a house with you. How can you serve your audience, your community? And 2, surround yourself with people going the direction you're going.
Hell yeah.
And if you find someone who fills you up when you talk to them, grab on tight. Those people are rare, so hold on tight to them.
Hell yeah. All right. So last thing I want to ask you is what were some of the biggest problems that you experienced before coming here to EXP? And what did EXP do to help solve that?
So I would say when I first joined EXP, I was somebody who did not take care of my energy or my soul. I said yes to everything. I felt like I had to do it all to make the money that I felt supported the lifestyle I was living at the time. And my son I was very pregnant when I joined, and so I ended up having Elijah our first year with EXP, and didn't have the grasp of the community yet, right? So I hadn't really built my EXP community. So I was dropping him off first, picking him up last, working with him at home, the whole thing, the whole unbalanced life I was truly living, because it does take time to break habits, right? So coming off of where I was coming from, and through my first year and then into my second year at this company, I really have been able to develop wealth and really focus on where my time is best spent and really find that balance. And I know that wealth can be kind of like a dirty word, but it's something that is important to live that life that most of us want. It's that freedom to choose what we want to do versus what we have to do. And so with EXP, the compensation plan with the cap, becoming an icon agent, that has been an absolute game changer. In the last 3 years with EXP, we've paid EXP less than we paid our broker the last year that we were our previous broker that we paid. So in 1 year, we paid our previous broker more than we've paid EXP in 3. Wow. So like that alone was just, I figured that out this year when we were doing our numbers. I was like, holy crap. The additional income streams for us have been incredible. I have always wanted to be a mom. Like I said, when I started, like that's been my number one thing. And right now I am able to drop him off in the morning. I'm able, and not first, he's not the first one in the door. I'm able to pick him up early when I choose to. My goal right now is 3 days a week by 3:00. And sure, do I work later in the evening? Absolutely. Do I take time for calls? Absolutely. But I'm able to be intentional with my time with him, picking him up earlier because of the freedom to have the revenue share. because of the opportunity to have stock awards, to be a part of the agent equity program. And knowing in the back of my head, we don't touch our stock. That's just
Me
how,
neither.
yeah, we don't. I know some people purchase it and are able to flip it quickly for a profit, and that's amazing as well. But we don't touch ours. So just knowing that there is, multiple six figures in an account sitting there just in case, right? Like in case something happens that we need it has been a huge just breath of fresh air. Whenever I talk about this, I get so passionate and I feel like I almost sound like cliche. Like our life has changed and it could not happen anywhere else. We were going to open our own and we have an office here with over 20 agents. We couldn't offer them nearly the benefits that we are able to offer them now. And kind of full circle again, like I said at the beginning, like I'm an educator at heart. And so we would have opened our own. And now I'm able to provide them with I'm able to educate them. I'm able to connect them to our community like you and our community with honey badgers and that entire group and help them grow their businesses, help them live these lives, this elevated life of financial freedom and things like that. And it's been a really beautiful experience. And like I said, I feel always so cliche about it, but it's the truth. And I'm very passionate about agents at least exploring the opportunity of what this company has to offer. A lot of things are said on the internet that are
Yep.
untrue about everything. And I think if you're a real estate professional, you should never say no to exploring opportunity. I still go for interviews if no one calls me anymore, but like when they do,
Very rarely.
yeah, when they do, I'm like, heck yeah, let's go get coffee. Let's go do whatever, breakfast. And I'd love to learn what you guys are doing because you never know, right? You never know when a relationship can become mutually beneficial without necessarily having to align yourself, but you never know when aligning yourself with different people will take you to the next level of your life. And I am so blessed to have Albie as my direct sponsor, and Jay, of course, as well, Jay Kinder, and the way that the two of them have poured into me, my husband, our office, our business, that I've never experienced leadership like it before. And my life is significantly better because of this company, and even the way that we are compensated with a cap on commission and things like that has allowed for us to diversify investments outside of just the stock portfolio with real estate properties. We're getting ready to flip a house right now, and that wouldn't be possible without EXP.
What I love about this is there's such a full circle. So when you started, you said, I know it's a dirty word, but wealth. That was exactly what you said. And it's kind of full circle because when we start this journey, we're around a circle of people that word will trigger defensiveness, right? Like that's just not obtainable. Like I'm going to work my 9 to 5. I'm going to work to the bone. I'm going to do this over and over. And then you get around this group of people and like if you tune in and you do the work, you're working towards wealth. And if you ask anybody do you want to accumulate wealth? If they say no to that, we need to get them a CT scan or something.
Right? Yeah.
Like we need to get them checked out.
Call 911. Bringing in the troops.
Yeah,
Check.
yeah, we
Yeah.
need some help. And accumulating wealth is the difference of the biggest thing of what took out of what you said was you have the ability to choose when it's time to spend time with your family. That's something that real estate agents can set themselves up for, but you're missing that piece it's gonna lose the stimulation of growth in a way
Yeah.
if you don't have the different parts that are there. I love that. I love that you've gotten to spend more time with your family, and I
Oh,
love that
yeah.
you're starting to build joy and happiness, and it's beautiful.
Thank you. And yeah, and that's the piece too, is that I just want to add in, it's not like I switched to EXP and all of a sudden knew how to do that. Like that's not how it happened, right? It's like you joined EXP and then all of a sudden you know how to do this. No, I didn't. But by plugging into the community and it's not just like yes, aligning yourself with a correct upline is extremely important. But even if you don't, my goodness, I have friends all across the company who yesterday I was on the phone with one of my really, really good girlfriends, and she was like, you know, we don't make any money based on how either person performs, right? But she was like, let me know if you need me to get on a call with that person. I'm happy to help. Or, hey, this is what we're building our team from scratch. This is something we're working on right now. What are you doing? How are you seeing, the positives? And so it's like just aligning yourself with others who are, like I said earlier, grab onto those people who fill you up with the right energy and can guide you and take you along on the journey, because it's a wild ride and everyone just pours into each other here.
Awesome, man. And again, I super appreciate you taking the time. I know your time is valuable, and I hope everybody that watches this, well, I know they will, gets a lot out of it, is able to make the changes. Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, everybody watching, thanks for tuning in. This is super fun. And James, you are a rock star, and excited to watch where you continue to just shoot up and explode.
You too, man. All right. Bye, everybody.